My never say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there. Osia dem yopo.
Obi bia beye se ne maami ana ne papa. De ne be kwa asuma hodo mu ne nioma.
Unji asuma ndi.
Na the entire menje religion ndi no. And say if you believe in the oneness of God, say nyankopon a
e ba ko pa
me nyini say o si echiche ni mu ansa na wa nyame. Nti I believe in the spirituality of God, and I believe say nipa nyina hu saa de no na yesi esum no a o si esum no honhom ene no kremu.
Okay,
these are the only two words that get me to abide. And I don't believe say me soon yankopon through Jesus Christ and nyame debi. Debi. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in say me soon yankopon through Muhammad and nyame. Nyame is nyame with or without Muhammad or Jesus Christ.
Okay.
He is God. What I say. And I don't believe say obi the any say obesun ntwians and who say nyame obi the any say obesun friend say asu ana abosun ana bibia debi. That does not make God God. God is God with or without
those things.
Wow. Intino se Bible not say yansun nyame wo honhom ne nukuru a wo kire ye kwan no. Enti honhom ne den.
Yes.
Obi bia o hwe yen o tie yen o ye honhom. Se ubulo se ubulo o ye honhom. Honhom no so gu ahodo ye wo honhom papa ye wo honhom bone. Adam no nyina bibia ye honhom. Ye wo honhom papa bebre wi ase abofo nipa otiwe ye honhom. Enti se me gidi se wo ye honhom dia. Nessa ye kama yo seme se eyo manyo nessa bi me botom se me ye se ya appoint me se me ye minister se me ye watchman se me ye CEO se me ye bibi na enye amayo sem se me man na me beyo no ho sem enti na mabadia then e wo se ye na se bi Nyankopon adom mu no wadum ye say yansu yetimi kyerɛkyerɛ nsɛmu no na wo se kyerɛkyerɛ ma amanfo adwene ani o mani ba wo ho so.
Okay.
Na nipa no se wo se atwene suntonto a yɛtwene suntonto se wo se ye bona baso ye bona baso wo se ye kamfo na ye kamfo no na obi ehu se ekwan ni nie na wo se wie no honhom ni nie o honhom ni Ghana fo a se ye honhom pani a odi yanim ani wa mahama ene obi ne honhom pa agi ya fi nkwasom bi mu ama na ye kwa ateneni bia enti se honhom no a ewo mahama mu no o se ye reset your mind dia e wo se minsu timi make sure say ekwa bia so no minsu di me dia na me dia do me ne ba boa na ya reset your mind. What I say enti se sa ne ye ne dia o se ye nya me dia ene no kura mu. It is all papa kura me papa ye boni ama be kan wa haya.
Yes.
Some mama ye boni ama be kan wa haya. Me nka so bi papa de meka.
Na mama
de bi. Ye nya so yes sir why you Nyankopon pe ni sa.
Okay.
On pe mutro bojo. O pe bibia se obeye anu beda ho frintin. Ye nipa ye timi kwa chiwachew. Ye fom. Na mom se pa se na poku be sheda se obeye boni de me nyesa. Me mpesa.
Me da se.
Etino Mwenye nyina yenyesa hwe amanufo a omudi anim kan obibia mu no wonbe hu se omati difo ani hwe won.
Okay.
Enti bibia omu ye bia no wonbe ye no honhom no nukurum.
Okay.
What I say because sebi and the reason why acquire say me biases is towards Mahama no. And not towards the NDC per se.
Okay.
But it's towards
Mama.
Because Eddie say people baby no krama no mind.
Okay.
Eddie pa.
Okay.
And I've always cited that example not because the person is swelling aging. It could be say and if I saw and I say be an any man who so
on a BBC.
But to the extent say obi betimi abebu ne man akọ high down beyond presidency.
So we deep president
so we the president
o man sika sem nyina
na sika bebree and try ye try gu ne so we wie sika o we si da wo Dubai na John Mahama na we wie sika hwe adan a wo sie na afei osafumafo na sign ne ho na me di watamfo be ma wo yenhira wona wo town no na me be na mo so ama wo yenhira esan say ebedu baabi no na wo tamfo na or the time edi wani no
yes
na wo se o ma no kura daddy afei ye say efie wei a John Mahama timu ni nyama ne mfa osafumafo se mempreda no less a person but otu for problem you first anti kotokro ni me bodia mamuso atenam se da bi mu ma ne ntram nya hwe Ghana asase bebre mu pe ba bi na mu si bi fufuro ma no o si we ya no pa mu nya no ma ne mfa o mo se da yam pene se John Mahama betra mu die me osafumafo betenam no mo pamu no na se ye di bu nya uti se woni chain homes for di nkoma o tire kwan ya
da no na me re hoi na
yes and that is the caliber of John Mahama. And until I know it's your board, it will be about this. I could for the John Mahama. We are Ghana once a year. There is no example. Say John Mahama. We are once a year. Not one example do they have. And you say we are Seattle. And your John Mahama. We are Ghana Scadia. And your Ninia at Airbus. Our Ghana Hantino. Young boy Airbus. And says can we give ya? That was the beginning of my knowledge about the candid nature of John Mahama. No politician, and I met me assign it at that point.
Wow.
No politician, not that I know of, not yet. Not yet. So say, okay, we John Mahama. Why now bet me a case? Okay, so may sign it. Me be say
not yet.
May say that research. Yet.
Okay.
But there might be any.
Wow.
And it is to the person Mahama. I don't know. Sometimes me when this phobia now omo chin that way na here me say no, you guys don't worry. Because where nipa what is no matter how far you go, you go put be animo ase. When the board of Mahama dia nyame hu animo ase. Including no less a person but the last president, the ex-president Akufo-Addo. O when you go say nyame di gu no. Nyame gu no animo ase ma wonam nana afa once na di na ti wo hu ba bia once na free. Okron tu so once na di wachi. Because when you go at poto obi a oye bibi ti John Mahama bia no Nyankopon through nature and spirituality no nyame gu animo ase. Na woni pa bi o wa ye fe sanka no. Because we nyame ni kosua. Enye bibia o ne hote. Ebi ade wo dwen say ye bone no nyame wo hwe wo mpo
Yeah.
Because when Jesus was discussing the life of David, when you listen to what they describe David as, was say, well, you're the man after whose heart?
God's heart.
And you know, who was David? Again, I need to for David. Again, David, na kuwa wa kum na fanere. But he was the man after God's heart. Because the 3 years be a sonya mieni. The 3 years be. And you know, there are people that come against him. A quiet Yankupon found Musu, and it says, Nanimoniam, a Kunkun, a yana fekeke. And you know, to that, you know, good. Then the Bia who okay, and in Queen Martin, Madame. This is yes, sir. A Bemma, a near man who do a course this will seem to John Mahama will seem to Lipa, yes, or no saint, or your Bonia may have. Next week, I'm meeting him. Okay. And then we do make camping him. Okay. So one can say Mecca. Okay. Already yeah, Mecca. Okay. No, we're almost solitary. And come on, come on, cremo. Open your idea where we are, you say, and can you go for you? Yeah, trust him. But so we didn't trouble the roofing. Now, here's a Bawumia. Or moon and say, I was a sassy come baby, a question of being passing or Barbesia. Pro for bar. Empathy. One to me first can I need that and then so toya when you are future you will come say ben
That is the Vice President of the Republic and the former Vice President. The former Vice President of the Republic.
Former deviant Vice President. Former deviant. Add the adjective deviant. He was a deviant.
And
he mentioned how useless he was. He himself came out publicly. Obia would draw a salary, and he was telling us how useless he was. And he had no reason to tell the Ghanaian people why he had to draw our salary. The taxpayers' money, our sweat. Yes, Brabaya Vice President manage the economy, no catches and no manage the economy. That is how useless and deviant he was. This is the person. Describe him. Let the world know how useless he is. Tell us what you think about him. He drew our salaries. Taxpayers' money, as Vice President. What was his call? The duty power and the Vice President for 8 years was why? Why was he there?
So now the head of the economic management team.
And then beyond that, head of police council. You saw how useless the police became under him? Having done Paris as the IGP, you saw how useless the Ghana Police Service became. Describe him. Let the world know who that useless person we are discussing is. Yeah, what you say at the Temuko promise and I mean the camera baba. How much does it cost to put camera in the market? In any case, Muna Musisi ga. Muna Musisi a ga with the honor evidence. They did that in opposition. Hey. Oh yes. Omuna see Kantamanto, Omuna na here. Omoba ba mwana kwa see Kantamanto. Tell me.
Nana,
when they began doing that thing,
yes.
After John Mahama had won power,
yeah.
I bet in studio Haka, one should be a question.
The Gavian sheep.
Make kind of studio, and I can't say your money is empty before letting down. And I didn't miss West. You see, sometimes you have a national security. I said, Omama, national security, na is a service and we that understand what it is, no. They get us to have a cause to worry. Because these things will not slip me by, and I will not slack.
National security and
they are not up to speed with time. They are not up to speed, and I don't know. The only thing that I can just be very much bragging of is Omani Gwemuajo. But must it end there? We must chase after criminals. Criminals, they that thing say they must perpetrate crime, must be brought to justice. And they have the effrontery. I said, Omania some kind of how do they call it? Impunity. The bravado, they don't even think because they think so. And those are the things that I think say our byway must take charge because it is slacking. The government is slacking.
Wow.
Yes.
But as an flood in here, since 1985. And Ghana recorded the first major flood case. A year Kromuha. Up to date. Incidents are what do I flood Amaye Hunu Kromuha 2015 years here. Some years flood the TRT Kromuha. Do you think leaders no Omefeli Ghana Fana?
I'm chatting for on this note. Now I'm chatting for. Meraho will be brave, and I take it to the doorstep of the president.
President John Dramani.
Yeah, because the buck stops with him and no one else. You see, baby, on my way, free I have do hano. On no pay any that so. May John Mahama experience our war and coming crown and coming yet. Me who say me kokasa say into aba.
Unka say.
No, come kasa mano.
Okay.
But we need pursue. na bodo chere na kuma pa me say yo send you see awoyo
no
and until na me what do be man say he could be the difference. I've always said the difference between the NPP and NDC is John Mahama. And I maintain
the difference between
NPP and NDC is John Mahama. That's the difference. There's the only difference. The beer and Professor Mills and Rua, he could have been the reason why there would have been a difference. But beyond Professor Mills, I saw a gentleman who made sure say obey overhaul the system no. And Usha the first time no, he's the one that got it right after Nkrumah and maybe a champion to make sure say obey building infrastructure, because you see a country that is developed, you know, like you go to America, you go to anywhere in Europe or wherever you think is developed, you know. And you know me pay and the massa amount mine edini na you can say oh omabobra, and that word is developed. One is infrastructure and two systems. You cannot put the cart before the horse. You say funu pianioma we mo ochinioma.
Okay.
And this all you say funu pianioma person was acquire ya no video living legend ko ba living legend videos is here nebo a full piano a full watching. So John Mahama in his first term, because of the quality of thought, said no, let me overhaul this system. We cannot continue to do one thing over and over again and expect a different result. Albert Einstein will say insanity, a dumb work. So we one thing repeatedly and expect a different result. And let us make a paradigm shift. Thinking outside the box is the main reason why I was say president to be NBB. Into me mama say without infrastructure and putting in systems. The MPP 14. Ghanaians have a certain low IQ until we come up. One day, maybe we are discussing the IQ averages of the world and why a country like Ghana, in say 4 or 5 years ago, out of 199 countries, now you're 190th. You can Google. You go on Google and Google IQ averages of the world. They say baby Ghana me da 190th. John Mahama aka a countries 9. As a countries 9 penny millions a Ghana. We are seeing 199 countries. It's on Google. You can Google. So anybody there. John Mahama we're taking it from 199, 190th no. What you have 141st.
Wow.
Yes. How many?
That is about 49. You try 49 countries, you know. 40 countries.
I think 39.
Okay, so 141st.
Okay. So you say you're free by the annual down about 141st. Wouldn't be a model. So you could see where Rwanda was in the past years, and when they had a president that decided say or be making sure say or be building infrastructure, you will put 2 systems in place to make sure say country be dina brand no free almost last but 7 or so 233rd or so say that they Rwanda that no America ya superpower no or that 20th America. Yes, say America the 20th. One day, not Bunny are thinking about first year from funny maybe no how best John Mahama is performing.
Wow.
Now, the man able John Mahama subo ne and say obi a won in say ya won opepa wa kumapa. Now we say in your first term, idea you got it right, infrastructure. You don't mount a platform to discuss flood as just attitude now. No, it's wrong. And he is wrong. You can discuss the attitude as some other things,
but it shouldn't be the
the attitude of the Ghanaian and Emma Flood Abba. It may be one of the reasons, many reasons, but the main reason Emma Flood Afayen, I'm a victim. Water came to my home almost to my hip level.
Wow.
Yes, me fear me team. And so we found that all these years, but it was almost at my hip level. And I know but his advisors are wrong to have made him aware, say, it's just attitude now, no? And he is wrong and he must correct his notes. Because if we have to discuss attitude, it is not to do with the attitude of governments. Why was Nkrumah building dams, man-made dams from Abri, 7 of them, to absorb the water pressure before they receive? Why was Nkrumah doing that? How many years ago? Over 30 years ago. Nkrumah was doing that. Why? Jane Shekan, who for himself fancy pin. Fancy pin for himself, Jane Shekan. So, me share John Mahama, the last budget at 2 force in VD.
Yes.
But we, and your ma, or must say, a kucha boom clatters will be there. Or mobile storm drains, I can say. Yeah, John Mahama knows, say. Flooding in Ghana, an engineering problem. But he said on a podium, say an engineering problem. So why then did you commit money to that? Oh yeah, Jumao. But on one scale, a Jumana, why was I condemn Jumana? I disagree with him. And I'm being blunt. I don't mean worse. Because flood in Ghana is everything to do with engineering problem. There will be an engineering catastrophe. Why you got this? Abaya would from for this even Fourth Republic here. Abaya be about where drains. No for Kufone ye Alajo.
Yes.
It was engineering problem. If you go to Alajo, they have a story to tell because for years I storm drain. Over the years, flooding and sedan ko Alajo.
Surely you know a drain.
A fat drain. These are secondary things that I will still blame governments. Because I mean now now citizen vigilante, you see come a gun from you say now poko share ball a good at message me and you say now poko share gata obitimi job e bi no video. What does Aban do when obi video? Then continue. Now who enforces the law? Whom does the bank stop with? Other than America there, who could think the so called for my tell echo prosecute you. Now Ghana had here, obi a share baller. You will free to you lie or you skinny, you will free no can or go share gatom. Now who are buying what you want to want? No one said I can't ever say, who are buying why a complainant? Change your attitude. And yet I am la. We are man says and you panic what say what? We didn't man about you. So be a good yard. Nana, or to tune to ma, say be a tough friend to ma. To cannot be no, or no. And yet, and she saw so few now in carry size 7. And it is a woman for so long. Now, because our party me, we sit down and swim, money Paponi Mudani. Because of your party, me, party chairman, party one way, no one will know. What by a coup for the Numato Ramsar site? Baby, I wasn't sure to a quotai. What by and who here, Juma? One minister, regional minister. How many times mentors to one country say, Papa Penubia, me won't be dear mamma. I could see that was high area. Some men country regional minister say, regional minister, Papa will buy a campaign pa. It's me, boy, cook Massi, I know a maze capital diesel. It's a man country regional minister say, and you will okay and I'm seeing you open mati and I'm better studio and now trouble on the camera ana me block no because me person be friend ko be bisa say na me yes papa pemu a say be agiri ya adwuma wa ko si nsuo kwan we say married no minister mu ye ko bu da gu ya obu afu atwa no te say ti bible aye da ba be do mama tem say do mama we nipa boni ni na ko kan ye na o man fiu na akwa obi an fiu na me opani unu nyansa adwuma no wo fom body no e be bre won say wo say wo sika akoto agu me ka tire no ana me sa beto no studio ha ana me sa kan ni di na mamo
memo
oh but we premier adwuma no wo fom because woni abanda da no moto kese na mo to asase e wo se ye di nsuo ensu sase o ukwa ubetimi ehu enuma o mu fifi Australia because o mu ba holidays e wo ho motimi ato ensase no atwe sika illegally akwose sa nya fi baby aba feeling sase no in about 18 feet asase e wo se nsuo kwata mu etu do mahama uba ya wu sa bia ma no you have conscience wo awon yesa entino one my original minister good asani na lugu if you blame it just on attitude you must crack the whip san yoma na menene nyaje ni gentility no menene ntime nyaje da
the Ghana flood in engineering issue
engineering and John Mahama knows say engineering. It is for him to have mounted a platform to say an engineer, it has everything to do. We are saying engineer. I was saying engineer and can be first will be BM. Because without engineers, BBA, she say it should be IT.
Yeah.
And engineers now set up net here.
Yeah.
And I engineer.
Yes.
BBA. Omuna a craftsman, omuna bibia, omuna a creative bibia, a team will be asking. And the engineer no bet me who say, okay, but then dear, no matter how much volume of water, I'm flooding. And the sir engineer now, I was so young, say, Jumano. What's that I will read you? No mama buy, go and read the previous budget. So see, I'm no say. Say sir your friends and storm drains and I more ye ni no manyo nyina ewom awu etwetwa honka adam aban no uni say for baba 8 years no on be na assembly for ye mo muskan pon farm tigatem yes kubu sa na bibahim honorable
anadi MBB
me see MPP for say assembly kura be nya sika ko tigatem na ni minim assembly for tara bi ko kom bi ko bono
nka
na omusu ya anda ekufo da yanti gata mu keke krampo no omu yes kan ko tim
but now here is the case Monday in Sulu Toriano, former vice president and flag bearer of the MPP, Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, Eko Nante Kakra. We no say a very possible cranka, Abayin declare state of emergency. In Sulu Toriano, who be here. So there, Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia can send Kebeanka President Mahama, and the NDC Abayin declare state of emergency.
Say, extra. Bawumia is uncle for now. One na yere kokro betima kese na nko adwuma ebia wakoye kalaspa na yere akoche no anu nko anti se na yere achi no krenti o ka se ne ni mood no krenti ni nko adwuma state of emergency na say chese when the president tell you know natural disasters happen. Me, I was flooded. It's not because Sebio John Mahama na says Anyako do that him say show MFA. And to want to sound much political and portray say you would have had a better alternative, no. Also, in the abundance of water, the food just always gets tasty. Officer when you answer it officer say okay officer Kenya as a sample o ko fia ne yebe choza fia me ne bia me ne fa sa adwa oni so Kenya sa sempa o. But what is state of emergency about flood na cause no ensuo no eda so tawa na
atwetwe
oh adwini so abodi ni bebre ensuo na free kwan ensuo na fia asase no so casualties aba nipa bre enyoma sai ni nyoma bebre asai ena me ba me ka ba me ka sai me ka ensuo it is state of emergency no ano be ye dey be ba ka na yeye oh adwini so abodi ni bebre. The best is what John Mahama is doing. When you say no, flood no, okay, yen two for VM. The young question be a course was assassination. The young shall be a scene to the war because this is the most voluminous water about a been seen that in how many years? Who can say
1935.
1935. Me sure say na ya wom papa. I'm not there. Obetimi can be at me me say that kwa ko bisa nana.
Okay.
Oh, na me busa say 1935 no nsu yiri ba ye no say na na etie. Wo say du ba bia binim say kuafo bebre betimi akai. E bia wututu fom a utimi ko hu nipa na nkese.
Yeah.
Wututu e bia wa wut obi o si ba bi kwa ba bi wututu ba bia utimi ko hu bibi.
Yeah, don't pay near there.
Obi kwa utimi ko hu obi agudi e wo kukuom.
Yeah.
Ni na ye nsu yiri ni bia. See some several years ago, if you are centuries ago, maybe not a people be tiasasi bi so baby. Akwadi your friend Ozzy, eya mungugu na mo hwe Iceman, Ozzy the Iceman.
Okay.
Mungugu na mo hwe na mo hwe story a. Okowu se kwaye bi some several years ago, Ozzy the Iceman. Until a new CC disaster CC. But how do you solve it? What I want from how far do you see? Till you say, the permit wa uhunu. Bofrafra bonsaya wu. So the wisdom in what we can learn biano akoswane say. John Mahama na miem to see the topography of Omaino. Say here for the issue nam kese. Here for the was a storm drains. Here for the was a year and yoma ebetimi abuama flood na emma biem na bam biem pokura na ensuo ne betimi atene enya nioma nuomu ensuo na atoagu asase so ena epe kwan akọ ena na kwan nkontino ebi abewo bi dem badu o so ensu kwan yensi no nipa na adweye ne se te se kufuo ga eyi o sie se na adwene mu wasi ade papa ma ne man ne boa but sadie no ena it can leave that expectation na no wo no enti no de na wose yeye e wo so man ne gye ho se e wo se yeye ne kese e che de wo ho na ana se wo se ekotum e che de na wo ho na ana de na wose yenye bi nka ho ana ye bie other canals yan kwati tinkroma de anim na ensu efia bi ba no yan direct ni na ntum na eni na fa kwantene na ba ko so nkogu pimu ana e de na wose yeye let's think outside the box and so and that madisre dia be mo mampani say or recently that thought no
say no
he is working on already.
Okay,
attitude now there Ghana ni na so there let's say you spare the rod you spare the child
very well.
Who now ya ban we may get president we may crack whip we may law enforcer it is a law enforcer we be to ball a good show na want me anya amokoko na say obi ko wiade enko na akochi na e wo so obi akoto ensu ayi buka tempo e criminal
medase
e ti ebe semu munna se mu kika sa attitude na obi ye nyoma anya ni na pokukwa mu kotu ayi bu ball mu e ma mu re mani se bia makwa campaign mama mu timi kwatu
medase
chairman bi ko si dance nsuo mu a mu tini MPP ni ya montino NDC ni ya montino mo nya sa de bia na ya ba be Replies ni akasa sa that talk shop ni dai politicians must sit up and work to the effectiveness of making sure say bia be possible.
Very well. Listowel Nana Kusipoku executive director Edema Good Governance Advocacy Group Ghana pedi ne be kan ye ho bi sia ha de bre ne makwan
Debi kama mamenna PENDREAM TV ase na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana nipa share nipa follow nipa comment here to my best of knowledge without any biases PENDREAM TV